Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're going to talk a lot about alt season and the things that goes on during an alt season and the pitfalls to watch out for and the things that we see and what happens in alt seasons. Because, well, we had something really interesting happen yesterday when the candle closed over here on the total altcoin market cap. For the first time in the last 3 years, we had the weekly candle close above the 0.702 Fibonacci retracement level, which is a very key retracement level that we've talked about on this channel for a long time since the inception of this channel. It's pretty much just the midway point between the 786 and the 618 Fibonacci retracements, but we see a lot of resistance come in there. If we look at the weekly candles, we can see there was really no resistance there at 618, but you could see this 702 had it for 3 weeks till it finally got through, and now we're up here at the 786. But you can see this level posed no resistance, this level posed no resistance, but it was really once it got to that 702. So it was a big deal that we closed above that yesterday. Now we're going to be watching for further moves to the upside. And well, if we do have a further move to the upside, what can you expect? Well, you can expect alt seasons to start really kicking off, right? And during alt seasons, we see a lot of retail investor behavior that is just repetitive, and we're already starting to see it. And I really noticed it a lot yesterday. It's kind of been gradually building and building and building. Then yesterday, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't even get on my Twitter feed anymore without being shilled a bunch of different altcoins. And a lot of that I think has to do with just what's going on with XRP and the XRP price chart, right? A lot of us are invested in XRP. It's done something unfortunate. We've had an outside catalyst with the SEC lawsuit happen. So you have a lot of people trying to figure out, how do I diversify my portfolio right now, because the future of XRP is a little bit wishy-washy, uncertain, right? And while I in no way could have predicted what would have happened with the SEC lawsuit, I have seen scenarios like this in the market where I even posted this back in August of last year. Imagine this hypothetical scenario playing out where Bitcoin breaks out into a new all-time high, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. FOMO for Bitcoin is insane, and on financial media everywhere. XRP stays at 30 cents the entire time this is happening. What would you do? Then I conducted a poll on that, and you could see sell all XRP at 3.6%, sell some XRP to buy Bitcoin at 2.8%, buy more XRP at 64.8%, do nothing and cry 28.8%. And so for fun, I conducted another poll this morning just to see what the answers would be today, right? I mean, whether or not these are phrased accurately, maybe I should have used 4 weeks, or have you sold below 40 cents? Maybe I would have gotten a different result. Maybe people sold into the capitulation. But anyway, I used 2 weeks in these polls that I did, and I said, hey, have you purchased any XRP in the last 2 weeks? And you could see 52.2% say no. And I said, have you sold any XRP in the last 2 weeks? And 16.9% say yes. So these numbers are a little bit different than what we were talking about back then in August. And with kind of a shift in sentiment that's happened over here with XRP, and a shift in sentiment of what I'm seeing over there on Twitter, I can see it that a lot of people are finding interest in saying, how do I diversify my portfolio right now? How do I get into different altcoins that are going to be pumping? I'm pretty much sick of what's been happening with my portfolio. It's sitting flat. It's at the bottom. Where's the exciting new thing? What's the next big hype train I can get on to go to the moon, right? And I think that's why Flare is getting, of course, a lot of promotion within the XRP community. When we started Flare, I went into deep diving what exactly is an airdrop and what's the point of an airdrop. And the point of an airdrop is to really get a lot of free marketing within a particular community. I've really done only one video really diving into what I thought about Flare, and I discussed how it's a marketing strategy to provide an airdrop to communities to get the content creators and to get those people really excited about it, to get it to where they're not going to sell it, make them invested, make them vested in the project, and to build a lot of excitement around it. And it has absolutely worked for Flare. Whether or not Flare is going to be something big or not, I know there's tons of excitement around it right now. I think we've seen a big deviation in sentiment away from XRP towards what could we be optimistic about. And as an XRP community, everybody's pretty much been airdropped this Flare token, or Spark token, right? So trying to find optimism with that while things are not so optimistic at this exact time for XRP. Now, I think things will turn around for XRP, but right now people are trying to find something positive to look at right now, and Flare and Spark is something to be optimistic right now for the XRP community, right? Everybody's got this token, or will be getting airdropped this token in sometime throughout this year. But the main purpose of this video that I really wanted to talk about was talking really about the pitfalls of an alt season, and how there's a very clear strategy on how to play alt seasons. but most retail investors don't ever put in the time or the effort to figure out how to do it right. And most of them come into this thing and then they say, how do I diversify? How do I change what I have? Where do I find the information that I need to know which assets I need to get into? And a lot of people will go to Twitter. And if you go onto Twitter right now and you just start looking at everybody you've been following for the last year or two, you're going to notice as you go through your feed every day a whole new set of altcoins that are being shilled to you or promoted to you that you should be buying because it's not too late. I've made a ton of money on this. It's not too late. You should get into it too. And what is the next new exciting thing that could absolutely go to the moon where we don't even know what the target of it's going to be? It could just go to infinity and beyond. We don't even know. It could go so high we can dream and fantasize about it as much as we want because it's never going to stop. It's always going to keep on going up, right? That's the thing that people are looking for. They're looking for excitement. They're looking to feed that greed. And as somebody who's been in these alt seasons before, I know how crazy and chaotic it can be. And over the last several years, going through a bear market, trying to really figure out how can I play this thing properly without having to worry about what am I going to chase? Am I going to miss out if I don't get in on this thing that all these people are talking about? Or can I just let that stuff go and not even worry about it and just stick straight to a strategy and that one work for me? And that's what I've done over the last several years, is figuring out how I can do it. And it's really quite simple. It's as simple as sell stuff that's high to buy stuff that's low. And that's it. I know that's not exciting. And right now, the things that are the most exciting for me to be buying are the things that people aren't even talking about. We're talking about stuff like XRP, or we're talking like Zcash or Dash or EOS or Bitcoin Cash. All of those assets are still really low. Nobody talks about them. Nobody cares about them right now, but their days will come. The things that are all being promoted on Twitter and are exciting and content creators are telling you to buy it, all those prices are already going up. The retail investors are already in them. And of course, Ethereum's making headlines right now because it had its highest weekly candle close in history yesterday. And it's even set a new all-time high within the last 24 hours. So that's incredibly exciting and going to send shockwaves throughout financial media. But in the end, from the bottom, Ethereum has already risen 1,600%. Most of the gains in Ethereum have already happened. But when we look at stuff like Dash that still has 1,300% to get back to its all-time high, or Zcash, which still has 800% to get back to its all-time high, or EOS over here with 700%, and hate it or love it, Bitcoin Cash still has over 800% to get back to its all-time high. And of course, our dear friend over here, XRP, still has 1,000% to get back to its all-time high. Yet the things that you're going to see talked about on Twitter are going to be things like seeing Ethereum up here at the all-time high and how exciting that is, or whatever new project or whatever new partnerships or whatever new exciting new thing, new shiny thing that is going to definitely go to the moon and we don't even know how high it's going to go because it's so exciting. Those are the things that you're going to see promoted on Twitter. You're not going to see people sitting there saying, oh my gosh, EOS is such a great buy down here, or Bitcoin Cash, oh my gosh, the percentage are just amazing just for it to go back to the all-time high. You're going to see people really talking about new exciting things that we just don't even know how high they could go because their charts are so short term. We don't have a lot of historical data to know how long how high they could go. We have no way to measure how high they can go. And the concept or the idea that it could just absolutely skyrocket to prices we don't even know and we can speculate about creates a buzz, it creates excitement, it feeds people's greed. And let's talk about this really quick. So the thing I keep seeing on Twitter is that, Ethereum's going to go to $10,000. I keep hearing that a lot. So that number sounds big. It sounds really exciting. It's like, holy moly, I want to be in Ethereum as it goes to $10,000. But $10,000 from Ethereum's current price would mean that the price would rise 600%. Exciting, right? 600%. But like we've seen, the people who have been in this market already up until this point, they've already made 1,600%. So there's 600% remaining in Ethereum if it's going to $10,000. So is 600% really all that exciting? Because that's the only number that truly matters. The actual value of what an asset is doesn't matter. It's the percentage that it can rise, which is what matters. It's the amount of money you invest in it and how many times can you multiply the amount of money that you invested. And so for XRP, just to get back to the all-time high, makes more money than what Ethereum going to $10,000 does. Same concept goes for EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, Dash, all of those bigger percentages just back to the all-time high than if Ethereum went to $10,000. But if you want to see like the bare bones essentials of how it's working for me when it comes to this alt season, in that there's going to be zero chasing for me. There's going to be zero going after new projects with new partnerships and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be merely how do I play this mathematically to my benefit? And I'm just going to show you a very simple example. Right here on the top, we have Ethereum, and right down here on the bottom, you have Bitcoin Cash. But if we go ahead and measure out Ethereum, and then we go ahead and measure out Bitcoin Cash as well, and then let's assume that I invested $100 into each of these at their bottoms right down in here, right? And I put $100 in, and I just sat there and waited it out. Well, how am I doing right now? Well, with Ethereum, I've already gone up a total of 1,500%. And then over here on Bitcoin Cash, my $100 has risen by 215%. So while my $100 here has turned into $1,600 because it's 100 plus the 1,500%, so plus $1,500, and this one's my $100 plus 200%, so this is at $300. So we have $1,600 versus $300. Now we look at this, and if we say this is the targets we're going to use, I'm not saying these are the targets, but let's just assume that they are, and we say, well, Ethereum is still going to go all the way up to here, up to like $6,000, and we assume that Bitcoin Cash is going to go all the way up here to $18,000. Well, then what's the best thing to do at this point? Is it best to just kind of stay put in here and move all the money out of Bitcoin Cash because it stinks, it's not doing anything, it's just slow, it's going to stay down here forever, it's never going to go, and just sell out the $300 and go ahead and throw it into Ethereum and use that to chase the final 300% remaining in Ethereum? Or what if I took my $1,600 that I had in Ethereum and I went ahead and jammed it down here into Bitcoin Cash and then made that $1,600 go an additional 4,000%? Now, again, whether or not those are the real targets, whether or not it's going to reach out to those levels is up, for the future to tell us whether or not that's really going to happen. But the concept of it is that simple. I pick out targets way ahead of time on where I expect prices to go. As we get closer to them, if one of them is leading the way, it's an opportunity for me to take that money out and jam it down into the stuff where it can multiply itself all over again. Because right now, I'll be straight with you. My target, I'm getting out of Ethereum. In my course, I always talk about that I'm going to be letting go of 65% of what I have. So 35% of it's locked away. I'm holding on to that for extremely high targets, but 65% of it's going to be sold. And with Ethereum, 65% of it will be sold by the time we get to $3,000. And it's been incredibly easy for me at this point to do that because of the fact that Ethereum has been such a leader. It's creating this huge opportunity to be able to let go of something that's an early mover and be able to jam it down into the stuff that still has a significant rise remaining left in it. And we're using Bitcoin Cash in this example, but like we talked about, XRP has a monstrous opportunity just to get back to the all-time high, whereas Ethereum doesn't have an incredible amount, right? Just to get to get to $3,000, it's only got 100% left in it for me. Whereas for XRP, even to get to the all-time high, has 1,000%. Or where Dash has 1,300% to get back to the all-time high. And so in this bull market, if we are going to start having an alt season, you're going to see tons of this stuff. You're going to see tons of it on Twitter of, hey, buy this coin you've never heard of. Hey, buy this one. Hey, buy that one. It's not too late. Get into this one. And that strategy is just not going to work for me. I'm just never going to do that. It's always about having a diversified amount. And if I'm ever buying anything, ever, it is always stuff that is still dirt cheap, and it has a lot of room left to go to at least get back to the all-time high at this current time. So this is kind of one of those last opportunities, I think, before alt season, and I don't know if alt season is going to take off at this exact moment, but if it does, there's pretty much no going through this anymore. Once the chaos happens, it's over, man. It's going to be a wild, wild market. But I want to make sure that everybody who watches this channel before we go into all that craziness knows exactly how I plan on doing things. And it's that I'm invested in, several different assets, and that if one of them takes off, like let's assume that all of them can go up 1,000%, right? So that's kind of how I go into it with my mindset of, they're all going to have different variations of what percentages they can go up based on, their retracement rallies and what their Fibonacci extensions are. But assuming that they all could equally only go up 1,000%, if this thing started to rise early and it already went up, 500%, And if you went ahead and you sold off all of these ones before they ended up getting going and you put them all into here, you're only giving yourself an opportunity to get 100% remaining in this rally because half of it's already done. It can only go up 100% more. But if all of these, right, if all of these can go up 1000%, and then you take this 500% and you shift it, right, you get rid of this, sell it all off, and shift the 500% over here. Well, 500% times 1000% means that this is going to go up. This investment here will go up 5,000% in grand total. Whereas if you took these and you sold these off over here, you're only giving yourself an opportunity for 100%. Of course, that's in a fixed example world where everything is exactly perfect with 1,000%, and we know the numbers ahead of time. Of course, in real life, that's not true. Everything is variable, right? Everything it absolutely changes, but it's just a simple concept of it. And that's how I'm playing this game. So whatever anybody's telling me to buy on Twitter, whatever the hot new thing is, whatever the new projects are, new partnerships, all that kind of stuff, none of that matters to me because I always fall back on just going with the mathematics of what can I do to multiply my percentages the most. And so I hope this makes sense to you. So, all right. I hope that you learned a little bit from this video and you kind of understand what my mindset is like going into all of this. I think there's still a lot of opportunities out there. And really, for me, the opportunities are always going to be the ones that nobody's talking about yet, the stuff that's still boring. But all right, we'll wrap this thing up. You guys could check out my website over here. It's bcbacker.com. I have a ton of videos on here. We deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, and I tie all that stuff together. And I talk a lot about this percentage stuff and the mathematics stuff and talk about my exit plans. You can check this out over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I hope this was helpful to some of you. I appreciate you watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need to pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.